Yo, what is good, my faithful? What is good, yo? Guys, I have an anime bull request and need from y'all, okay? Alright, and if you're new and you're not subscribed and you're watching this, don't feel like you can't include yourself in this as well. I need y'all to be on my case about every show. I am checking out every anime to be safe at this point because with everything going on in the world, I was stuck making videos that I've been wanting to make, but I wanted to make those videos when I had more editing and stuff like that at my fingertips. But because I have this amazing community already, that some people that come and go, they always give me like heads up of different shows they're checking out and whatnot, and I just usually grab whatever show I can, watch it, and then throw it out and see if anyone else is talking about it or wants me to talk about it. So knowing that there's something out, two shows come out today, and this one is definitely something a little bit less of what I would cover, just in the grand scheme of it being solely focused on just sexiness, I guess you could say. Um, I would love for the show to have like a great plot and keep me interested in the story, and then the characters being, having this unfortunate power of every time they use it, they become naked, probably until they get like their hero uniforms, which I think will dumb down the need to show all that. But it feels like they should already have had the suits if they've been fighting these monsters for a while. Anyway, just let me know what animes you guys would love to hear me talk about or love me to see me check out and put a video up, because I think at this point it's fair that I just give most of the animes a chance. Like if it's something I really know I don't care for, I might still do something for it later on this time around, just to be safe, right? We don't know what the heck's gonna happen in the next 6 weeks with these companies that are dropping shows, and anything is possible. I don't want to wish anything bad upon them, but it's in the air that anything negative could happen to the chances of us seeing some of these shows. And I don't want to sound selfish or anything, but it does suck when that happens. But at the end of the day, it can't be stopped if we as people are kind of allowing it to still be a big problem by ourselves not changing. But regardless, this show definitely has some interesting aspects about it when it comes down to other shows I've seen that it kind of reminded me of. But the whole premise of this show, or this week's episode at least, is there's some weird types of monsters that feed on our human emotion and our like human desire and stuff like that. But it seems more or less towards our erotic side. So whenever they're trying to find these humans, it feels like the most common places they would want to attack them is when they're closest to their, happy, in the moment times, right? Like when they're getting to see something they really want to see, just so to speak. Um, or, someone catching someone on stairs when they trip and fall, and that helped their power be enormous. All of a sudden, um, we find out that with these monsters or these aliens, they come and take pretty much your want, like your urge to be with a woman, or your urge to be with the opposite sex, or just in general your, I guess maybe your horniness. And after they take that from you, we did see a little bit of an instance of the monster getting a little bit like bigger, I guess you can say. So I guess overall, maybe the scariest, toughest monster has absorbed a bunch of ridiculous amounts of it and is in its position for that reason. But they have already announced a queen throughout the very first episode, which gives me the feeling that this is going to be more or less a 12 episode season, and or maybe even series, because they made sure to capitalize on most of the things that are going to be used probably throughout all of the show. One being the trope of, exotic stuff being the monster's passion to attack, and the other thing being nakedness and human emotions are going to be, very, very on display most of the time. Um, and they did that very, very quickly through this first episode, just giving you a heads up that this is what the show is. And I think the easier way to know that this is coming as well is the way that the girl was treated at the very beginning till the part where it was like 5 years later and she was nothing like she was back then. It was a weird flip of the switch, like, oh, this is how adults hold hands when they love each other, and I like you, and just being very, very straightforward to all of a sudden very like holding back her emotion, passive, and not being forward about anything. So it kind of got me thinking already in my head that something, when we saw this weird bug looking figure showing up at the very beginning of the episode and they didn't do anything about it, or they didn't show us anything about it, I was like, something about that must have been it. And then we see our first instance of some people had some like idol moment at a park, and they're just cheering her on and happy to see her, but because of the alien doing something to the girl, making her clothes malfunction, her outfit, it led into them getting more erotic, and because of that, that's when the alien attacked and winds up taking that away from them, aka what our main character doesn't want to happen to anyone else. And we find out that he wasn't even brave enough to stand up in front of the girl to protect her. It was the other way around, coming to find out that he really did let her emotions get taken, but in a funny way that they then reverse that and just kind of say that her her emotions weren't taken. She took them away from herself. She locked herself away because the alien said she was the most, had the most erotic and all this different stuff, and she was like she was like a baby. Like, oh my god, this power that you possess and the erotic is just overwhelming. And I guess trying to absorb as much as it did killed it. So yeah, I mean, there's a such thing as too horny in this show, and I think that's going to be one of the most hilarious things to get past. Or with the queen being around and giving the alien who got punched in the very beginning of the show by our main character who stole from those idol watchers, uh, that will be our first intro into really seeing, how the queen is making them capable of maybe absorbing more than they used to be able to. So I'm interested to seeing this queen and seeing what she truly brings to the table, because if she can make a monster, take the damage that she might not have been able to take earlier, it kind of goes to show that she's dangerous, right? Like, she is actually a threat that needs to be taken with all seriousness. So I'm interested in seeing what everybody's feeling about this show overall. Like I said though in the beginning, please let me know shows that you guys are watching or checking out, and what you like about them, what you expect about them, if you like read the manga to them and there's like good twists or stuff like that. Because at this point, I honestly would rather have a lot of shows that we can talk about that maybe I'm not as passionate about, but over time, talking to you guys and learning why you like it will help me look past my own thoughts and get new perspectives. So have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you guys are watching this. I hope you all are having an awesome one. My anime people, I'm sorry to call y'all guys and not just anime people. I'm trying to work on that. It's hard sometimes just talking normally, but then trying to make sure I say the right things. Alright, my anime people, with all that, take care, and I will talk to you sooner than later. Peace.